Welcome to Ride JBI. My name is JB. Today I'm going to show you how to remove the WP shock nitrogen tank. That is this piece right here. As you can see, I already have the shock mostly disassembled. So we got the compression adjuster removed. We got the bleed bolt removed. The shock has been drained to oil. The preload adjuster has been moved and there's nothing left inside of it. We've done a good job of wiping it down and getting it clean. So the first step before we can remove this is we got to heat this up. The ideal way to heat it up is to first start with a heat plate. So we're going to go over there and put that on the heat plate that we got. Awesome. So you can see the important part is we got this area. This is where the threads are with all the Loctite. This is touching the heat plate directly. This heat plate only goes up to about 400 and 450 degrees. So while it will get the part really hot, it's not going to melt any O-rings or even get the Loctite soft enough for us to remove it. But what it will do is get the entire part nice and evenly hot. So once we do put it in the vise and we start heating up this area with the blowtorch, it'll concentrate the heat in there instead of it going throughout the entire part and us losing that heat. So we'll let this heat up for a bit, then we'll come back and check on it. All right guys, so we're back. We've had this on here for about 7 to 10 minutes. The shock body is nice and hot. Get yourself a rag, something really thick before you grab it off of there and you don't burn yourself. And next we're gonna mount it up in the vise. And don't forget, turn it off. All right guys, you got one of these type of vices with parallel flat jaws, which is very common. The way you're going to want to mount it up is you're going to want to mount it on these two flat spots. You got one here and one here. As you can see, it fits really nice up inside of there. You can use the reservoir transfer port as a guide of how far to slide it in. While this way works, we have a better vise that we like to use. So we're actually gonna mount it in this vise for taking it off. All right guys, so we got the shock mounted in the vise that we like to do it in. Here's what it looks like. We got an adapter on this side. It prevents the shock from turning this way as we go to loosen this off. And we have a different adapter that better mounts on that side. So now that I got that in there, we want to heat up these threads right here with a propane torch. I don't recommend MAP gas because you're gonna end up melting the fucking thing, and you don't want to do that. All right, so we got that nice and hot. Now we're gonna grab our JBI suspension WP tank tool. Is this piece right here. It's two-sided, so that way it can fit the different size nitrogen tanks that are out there. The older model WP shocks take this wider pin set. The more newer ones take this closer pin set. This is perfect. This was purposely made to be a very tight fit. Reason being is this is on there really tight, and if these pins don't fit in there nice and snug, they're going to want to walk out on you as we apply a high load of torque. Cool, now you got that on. Time to put on your wrench. And you're just going to want to start applying a load in a loosening direction and slowly add more torque. Keep a good pressure on it. And there she goes. If you find yourself fighting it really hard, stop what you're doing, get out more heat and apply more heat to those threads. Even better yet, if you have another person helping you, keep applying force on the wrench and have somebody else start to heat up the threads again, and then it'll definitely bust loose. So remember, this is hot. Let's unthread this out. And now one of the key things you want to do while this is hot is we want to wipe off the Loctite from the threads so it doesn't dry in there and make the install of our bladder kit harder than it needs to be. I purposely like to use an oily, damp rag that helps us kind of get everything cleaned out of there. And we're going to wipe off those threads dry once we're done before we apply any new Loctite. But that's going to be a different video. Awesome. So these threads are clean. We have a O-ring in there that you're going to want to pull out and inspect. This guy right here, you're going to want to look if there's any tears or if it melted or got misformed in any places from the time you worked on it. We've done this quite a few times, so rarely do we ever see an O-ring melt. If you use something like MAP gas, then it would definitely melt this O-ring. That'd be a lot easier to do. So let this cool down, don't touch it. I will have another video of how to install the bladder kit. Thanks for watching, bye.